If you've been on the internet at all in the last 2 months, then you probably heard something called the return of physical media. Physical media is trending again. So I decided to do an analog bag. So, welcome to the tour of that. If you don't know me, I'm Grace, and I make books and lifestyle content, and I talk a little bit about pop culture, a little bit about makeup, fashion, confidence, a lot of things, writing. But today it's about the analog bag, and I'm going to be showing you my DVDs too, so don't worry, we have a mix of everything. Essentially, the trend of the analog bag came about because in 2025 there was a big rise of AI where people were like, we are very disillusioned with AI. It's taking over art, it's taking over engineering, marketing, social media. It's like the AI slop conversation that people are having. And I noticed this too, where we just started realizing what's the point? Like, social media just doesn't have the same allure that it used to, where it's like, yeah, you used to be able to spend 3 or 4 hours on social media a day. And now it's just kind of like, well, it's not quality anymore, so what's the point? So people started returning to CDs and DVDs and buying old TVs and using their old VHS tapes from when they were a kid and like returning to books as well. And it was really funny because I was like, I've been a book nerd for years. Join the party. I've been over here for ages. Today we're doing a tour of the analog bag. So I have this cute little tote bag that has the classic books on it. I got it at Barnes& and Noble, and it has like some cute little pins on it. For my analog bag, I tried to collect things that you would use on your phone. So like things that you have on your phone. So like if I want to go to a coffee shop, I can take maybe this stuff instead of standing there on my phone because I need everything on there. So number one is my calculus calculator. I used this, and the pain and suffering that this brings to remind me of. There is so much pain and suffering held. There is so much pain and suffering held in this one singular calculator book, because of course it wouldn't be an analog bag without a book. And I chose a particularly old book, which is Nancy Drew, Book 10, Password to Larkspur Lane by Carolyn Kane. Kane? Kane. It's a mystery. Also, are my space buns not adorable? I have been obsessed with the Nancy Drew books since I was about 8 years old, and my mom kindly bought me the entire series around that age. And so since then, I have been shelving these, and I wanted to put them in my analog bag because, like, why wouldn't you want a Nancy Drew book with you? It's like, it's not ACOTAR, but it'll do the job. I have a fidget toy. This is like a little ASMR for you. I'm always fidgety with my hands. I have a hard time sitting still. I don't know if that's like the OCD or the hyperactive brain or what. But like, I just am physically incapable of sitting still. Because now it's like, if I'm out at like the store, or like if I'm at a coffee shop, or I'm in class, especially, these types of things come in handy. Old-fashioned pencil sharpener, because, if you're going to be writing analog style, you need a pencil sharpener. And this is what it looks like. It is used, but it's cute. She's cute. Then we have, these are my colored pencils. I also have some markers in here. I kind of like remixed the bag. It's a mixture of markers and pencils, pens, gel pens, things of that sort. And I thought this would be excellent because when I was picturing what I would do with an analog bag, I was picturing sitting in a cafe, walking around, finding hobbies that aren't just doom scrolling on TikTok, drawing something tactile with my hands, something that I can focus on that is productive. And the saying, like, create more than you consume. Well, these are the pencils for that job. This was actually one of my Christmas presents this year, was a large print crosswords book. I don't know if you've seen The Office, but there's a character in there, Stanley, who always has his crossword book. And this is mine now. And I love it because I am, at the end of the day, 80 years old. So I always need large print. Large print is much appreciated. I used to read large print books when I was like 13 because I hadn't upped my glasses prescription yet. So I was like kind of blind. And I always appreciated a large print Western book. And then I also have a cutesy little flower notebook. It's like it has some purple details and it has a little black pen. And this is for writing down notes, writing down lists. Because, the temptation is always like, oh, just pull out the notes app on your phone, right? And you can just write it down there. Well, next thing you know, you're on TikTok or Instagram and you can get some ideas and inspiration of your own for what you can do for yours. And then this is a deck of playing cards. I'm a big Carrie Underwood fan. I have been for years. And I got to see her about more than almost like 3 years ago now, which is wild. But I went to her Denim and Rhinestones tour and I joined like her little fan club. And they gave us these playing cards as part of the perk of being a member. And it comes in this little deck. I did have to tape it because like it got kind of destroyed. And everyone in your friend group needs something to do. Well, now you're the person with the cute deck of playing cards. I also wanted a little fun book to read. Not exactly a magazine, because magazines I know are going to get dinged up in my bag, but something that I can read and peruse, just like aimlessly, have some fun with it. And that for me is the Gilmore Girls Life Lesson book. I found this in the book annex discount bin at Barnes & Noble for maybe like $2. And it has advice about dating and school and accomplishments and family pressure. For example, on the page about money, it says, if I had $1 for every time you gave up. From Emily Gilmore, season 1, episode 6, Rory's birthday parties. And then on another page, it talks about the joys of reading, which is what my page is about. In a world where any movie or TV show you want to watch is at your fingertips, it's easy to forget just how far a great book that can take you. It also has pictures from the show, which really puts you in the world of the book as well. Some activity books that are really fun. One of them, I was a lonely child, so I naturally had more time on my hands than the average 13-year-old. I wasn't exactly popular, if you know what I mean. So I ended up doing calligraphy in like 7th and 8th grade, which was a bit of a grandma hobby. But honestly, the best hobbies are grandma hobbies. And I feel like as you get older, it's important to recognize that a lot of times the hobbies that you were too embarrassed to have when you were a teenager, when you get to be an adult, like I'm almost 20, when you get to be close to your 20s and in your 20s, it's like you just kind of adopt the habits and hobbies that you had when you were younger and you just accept it for what it is. So this is a calligraphy book. Some of them are already filled up and you can make cards, you can make posters, you can make liners, you can make bookmarks, and it's really soothing and it's very detail oriented because you have to get the shading right and you can't go outside the lines. So it's a bit high pressure. I would say that I qualify now as sort of like a special units agent because we both have very high pressure jobs, which is a word search book, challenge accepted. This I like to do on car rides, road trips. When I'm watching true crime, I'll kind of treat it as a podcast and I'll do a word search while I'm listening to my true crime. And that's really breaks down the focus for me that I can parcel out visual, tactile, and also auditory for the podcast. And then this is my Stars Hollow Gilmore Girls coloring book. There are a lot of Gilmore Girls things in this bag because I do love Gilmore Girls. So this is the coloring book. A lot of this is filled in because I have had it for a couple years already. That is everything that is in my analog bag. I am so excited to start using this in the new year and start carrying it around. Now we're going to switch over to the DVDs and CDs of my physical media collection. So now we're in my other corner, and we are going to be going through some of my DVDs and CDs for my physical media collection. The first things that I would recommend if you're starting out on your physical media journey is to get some DVDs of shows that you would commonly watch on streaming. Because one of the main points of a physical media collection is that you don't have to shop around on streaming services and you can cut back on what you're subscribed to. And one of these for me was The Hunger Games. So I got the Hunger Games Blu-ray DVD collection. And it really does start to pay for itself after a while because you're noticing that you're spending more time watching DVDs and less time on Netflix and Prime. Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them. Barbie, so some blockbuster movies. I also have Wonka. Wonka came out a few years ago and I really love it. Timothée Chalamet is very good as Willy Wonka. How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days. I actually just got this one like $5 at Barnes and Noble. It was really weird. It's like a lot of people's favorite rom-com, I think. I have a very beat up copy of National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation because it's very important to have the classics as well from your childhood because that helps your brain engage with it, because a lot of times as kids we're used to engaging with physical media more than digital. At least with my generation we are. I recommend having some collections of shows that you love specifically. Like Wednesday for me, all 3 seasons of Anne with an E, the Harry Potter movies, and this one was a big one, but the entire series of Gilmore Girls plus A Year in the Life. And then we have some of my CDs, such as Noah Kahan, Ed Sheeran, more Ed Sheeran, Taylor Swift Tortured Poets Department, Taylor Swift 1989 CD, Celine Dion, Teen Beach Disney Musical CD, Netflix A Week Away CD, The Jonas Brothers, Adele, and Michael Bublé. A lot of these are chart-topping artists that you would pay for on Spotify. Because one of the videos that really encouraged me to start talking about physical media more was this girl was talking about how in 2025 and earlier years recently, we're basically paying to access, we're not paying to own. So it used to be that you own a CD, you own a DVD, you own a copy of that. So no matter what happens, you own it and you can watch it. But recently, you're paying to access it and it can be taken away. You can lose access and then you won't be able to watch it anymore. And so that's why it's really important to have these DVDs and CDs that you can watch and rewatch no matter what happens to your subscription, no matter what Netflix acquires or doesn't acquire, or your favorite show gets taken off and then you can never watch it. Now you have it. And I know it is hard because there are so many shows and movies that you feel like you can't get everything. So it is very important to think about what you really like and what you really want to watch. So in my mind, I'd be like, if this show got taken off tomorrow, would I find something else to watch or would I be really, really crushed? And then for CDs, I do have a very, very old CD player. It's not that old, but it wasn't the best quality, I'll put it that way. It's from like 2021. I bought it at Best Buy for like $30. And it has aged. It has a lot of white noise in the background. It's not exactly the highest quality, but I'm happy with it. We are happy together. Also, CDs are much more affordable, to me at least, than vinyls. Because a lot of vinyls that I see are like between $30 and $50, and I can a lot of times get a CD for about $10. Not to mention, I don't exactly have the flat surface space for a record player, let alone vinyls. CD players are smaller, CDs are smaller individually, so it's easier for me to store and collect those as opposed to vinyls and records. Thank you so much for watching and learning about analog culture and the trend. Hopefully it doesn't just die out in the beginning of 2026. I really hope that it stays and people learn about how they can return to the older ways of doing things from even like 10, 20 years ago instead of just paying to access. You can consider this basically your starter pack for how you can make your own analog bag and you can make your own DVD and CD collection. So thank you so much for watching and for coming back to the bookshelf/media cabinet to hang out with me today. If you'd like to like and subscribe, that would be amazing. And make sure to also follow me on the social media, such as Instagram and TikTok, and of course here on YouTube down below. And I will see you next time for a January reading vlog or another fun video that I have planned. Thank you so much, and I'll see you next time. Bye!